So I've got quite a bit of care experience background. Before starting as a student nurse, that's where I work. I was working in care homes. So I got my placement to start, so my second placement to start in the care home, and instantly I just didn't know where I was meant to be. I didn't know where my role was. I just couldn't understand, because all I knew was how to be a care assistant, and it's completely different to obviously being a student nurse and being a nurse, the role, everything. So I was quite taken back by it, and I wanted to get in there, I wanted to do something, and I just didn't know where to start. And I contacted my link lecturer, Leslie Butcher, who kindly came to see me in the home, had a lovely conversation with me, and she explained to me about a workbook that she's been working on for student nurses working in care homes. And this workbook just involves everything really on what you can achieve from working in a care home, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, any type of person-centered care, so it's really getting back to basics and seeing it, and then watching it all build up gradually throughout your placement, which I found really, really, really helpful. It helped me structure where I needed to be, and me just being such a passionate person about the care that's delivered in care homes, I was just really eager to be involved. I was happy to obviously pilot the study. It's really helped me. And just tiny little details, you think, oh, can I do that? Can I not do that? So it was really good, and it does help structure your placement. People often think, I'm coming to a care home, it's just a care home, nothing, I'm not going to learn anything, it's, anyone can work in a care home. But in fact, there's so much that you can learn, and especially for students who have no care experience. So for instance, maybe somebody who's leaving high school and they've just got college and they've just got their A levels, starting uni, haven't been able to get care experience. This gives them the best that they can have. So it really takes you back to basics and giving person-centered care, being emotionally and physically involved with the patients, understanding dislikes and what they like, and building on that. So having that foundation to build upon, it's just really, really important. When you go to the hospital, you often find that a healthcare support worker will do will sometimes do these jobs, and you get lost in track with paperwork and meds and things. So it's nice to come back to basics sometimes and know this is how it's done, this is how I've got this experience, so if anything happened like this in the hospital, I know what to do, I know how to do it, and there's so many different approaches that you can take. So I just think it's a fabulous idea to prepare student nurses for working in the care home. I think the media have a lot to do with this, in terms of all the bad that they express about care homes, and you never, ever, ever see anything about the good about them. So people just instantly think, oh, I don't want to work somewhere like that. I don't want to, but it's not the case. It's not the case at all. And it's like any employment, wherever you go, there is good and bad. And that's in any employment, whether it be in a hospital or an office or anything. There's always going to be good and bad. But the problem is the good people are seeing the bad experiences and they're not wanting to go there. And that's what's so upsetting, is that we need the good people. We need the people that are going to come in and they're going to care and they're going to love and they're going to do everything that these people need them to do. Because unfortunately, the older person cannot do this. They can't do it for themselves. And it's surely the least I could give. I know that for sure. I just think the media has a lot to play in how care homes are perceived these days. A person who's living with dementia, it's quite difficult to gain their trust, and to gain for them to be able to let you help give personal care, or if you need to assist with feeding. And so it can be quite difficult and quite challenging. And for me, that's something that's like gold dust. You're never going to experience that. And that is, once you experience that and you know how to approach a situation, you know how to handle a situation, if any, is so important, so important. And those lessons can be taken absolutely everywhere, even down to a person who's not living with dementia but is experiencing such a distressing situation. You know how to bring that person back down and break everything down. And so I think there's so many things that you can learn here. Every person living in a care home should have a "this is me" portfolio. And it should be either themselves who have helped fill it out, or family members, or anything like that. And it's seeing the person, as an individual, and what that person likes, what they don't like, what they enjoy. Often I find, which I've learned, well, not learned, but I'm trying to implicate into this care home, is we have, for instance, a lot of men here that absolutely love football. They love it. And we've got two gentlemen that used to play it and were semi-professional. And I sat there and I thought, what can we do? I can't get them out to play football, so what else can I do? So I thought of, instead of, the big board with the handles and you turn, instead of that, because we couldn't bring it in, having sort of like small figures with a ball, just a small ball, on their table, and being able to go back and forth. And so it's stimulating them, it's keeping their hands going, it's still promoting small amounts of exercise. To them, it's to us it may be, something so minor, but to them it's massive. And just knowing, it's just getting to know somebody personally and understanding. There's people who possibly like to be washed a certain way, or dressed a certain way, or assisted in feeding a certain way, and it takes time to build that up and to get to know that person. It's easy to say, oh, do you know how this person likes, but you just make it, everything uni teaches you in the beginning about person-centered care. This is the prime example of it. This is the absolute prime example, that only this is the closest you're going to get to person-centered care. You can't get no more personal, if I'm honest. And it's just getting to know somebody and just seeing them as an individual. They're not, nobody is the same. Nobody, just because 5 people may suffer from the same form of Alzheimer's or dementia, doesn't make them the same person. They're different people, they had different jobs, they had different lives prior to this. And you'll be surprised how much sometimes they can remember, and what they can remember. And if you just have that conversation with them, or even down to if somebody's not able to speak, look at their body language, look at how they're expressing themselves to you. You on it, you just learn so much. You do learn. And like I said, for somebody who hasn't got care experience, this is the best place to be. This is really the best place to be. This is where you're going to pick up every single fine detail of everything. And you're going to know, and you're going to think, oh, I know what that means. I know, oh, that person doesn't like that, or it is the prime example of person-centred care. That's the only way I can explain it. Personally, I think a lot of it is to do with not understanding. Just people say, what if that was your nan? What if that was your grandpa? I've never perceived it like that. I always see, what if it was me? So I know personally, what if it was me? I know my nan as much as I like to know my nan, but I have to think about what if it was me. And I know there's certain things that I wouldn't like to be done to myself. And when you think of somebody having to be assisted with washing, I'm 29. I wouldn't say 28 then. I'm 29, and I know if I had to be assisted with washing, regardless to my age, absolutely regardless to my age, it's not a nice thought. It's not a nice. It wouldn't be a nice feeling. So I think a lot of it for me is sometimes, one, are you the right person for this job? That is the total bottom line. You can have all the education, all the understanding, all the staffing. Are you the right person for this job? You have that has to be thought. I think a lot of things is understaffing as well. People not turning up for work. Some people just don't want, are not, like I said, seeing the negatives of working in a care home, and they're saying, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to work there. In some cases, management. In some cases, are you a good manager? Are you looking after your staff? Are you looking after your residents? There's so many different we could blame so much, really. We could say, oh, this and this that, but for me, generally, I like to just say, are you the right person for this job? Is it for you? Have you got compassion? Have you got empathy? Because if you haven't, I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's very fair for you to not be a caring person and to come and work for people who are vulnerable. They are vulnerable people. And these people haven't, in many cases, cannot defend themselves or speak for themselves, so you have to do it for them sometimes. So if you're having to do that and you're not a caring person and you're just here just for the sake of being here, then that's, I think a lot of it can come down to that. I don't think there's a lot of education in dementia and Alzheimer's. There's education in terms of when you start in a care home, manual handling, washing and dressing, feeding, choking, things like that. But I have never worked in a care home where I've sat down and somebody has actually educated me on dementia and Alzheimer's and told me the best how to handle situations. Or I remember in the first home I ever worked in, and I said, oh, I read on an article, on a study about how people with dementia or living with dementia like to often have babies, little dolls, or something to look after, something to feel. Oh, we don't do that here. I said, why? I said, just try it. It's not hurting anybody. And I think it's down to needing to understand dementia and Alzheimer's as well, and and what is the best route for that person. Like, I've also read about singing and how music helps people who are living with dementia, how it calms them down. Often when we put songs on that are from their era, you might see a hand tapping or a foot tapping, and then, even though they might not know the words or recognize, they're enjoying that music. So I think a lot of it, and I will stand by my word, is a lot of it is, you really do need to want to be here. You have to want to be here. And I know 12-hour shifts are not easy, and I understand, but I think that is half the battle. That's half the battle. If you care and you've got that momentum in you to want to make a difference, it's half the battle. In one of the homes I used to work in, I remember one of the girls, she would say, because it was, get everyone out of bed, everyone out of bed, everyone in the lounge. It was one of those. And I had just started, so it was my first home. So I was a little bit just figuring out really what was going on. And I remember she said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Just because somebody may not have the capacity to make that decision, or they may have dementia or Alzheimer's, they know their body and they know their feeling. And if I ask that person and they say to me, no, they don't want to get out of bed, and I ask that person again and they still say no, I'm not getting that person out of bed. This is their home. This is their home. And it really clicked for me then. That's when it really hit, it really clicked. And I thought, she's absolutely right. This is their home. I'm in their home. I'm just here to just make their life easier and to and better, really. I'm not here to make it any worse. So, and that's when I took that then further, and I accepted decisions that were made by that person. This is their home, and like I said, their mind may not work the same because of the dementia or the Alzheimer's, but their body, they still feel, and they still know if they're tired or they're ill, or they're still human. They still know what they want and what they don't want. And that's where there's like such a thin line with giving somebody their dignity and their safety and their human rights, and then at the same time thinking, right, but this person hasn't got capacity, so I have to try and make the best decision for them. So where do you draw the line with that? Where there's it's not black and white. It's not at all, and it's full of colours and and you've just got to try your best. That's all I can say, is that you've just got to hope that you're doing your best, and that medically it's a completely different thing. If somebody's prone to pressure sores, and this person is completely and utterly refusing to turn or to have pressure relief, then I understand where that then comes into it, that you're making that decision because if that decision is not made, this is the outcome. So I understand the tiny little decisions of, if somebody wants to get out of bed, let them make that decision. When they're having personal care, give them the flannel. Do you want to wash your face? Do you want to dry your face? It doesn't need to be solely you. Like, this is, and even that, so you're giving that person something to do, because they're like, right, I still can wash my face, I can still do this. And two, they're moving their arms. Brilliant, amazing. You're moving your arm, you're using your muscles. We love it. So you're killing two birds with one stone, and you're standing there and you get to see, that's fine, this person is capable of doing this. If you're assisting with feeding, don't just stand there in front of somebody and put the spoon in their mouth. Does this gentleman or this lady want to hold the spoon? Do you want to guide the spoon with them? Do you want to? It's just tiny little things that you can do to make that person feel like they're still there and they're still being seen as a human being. There's some brilliant things that I've seen in care homes. Brilliant activities, places that they go, even down to having their little fidgets and what they like, all their bedrooms being decorated. actually like their home, not just like everybody else's, but like their home. And there has been bad things that I've seen that I've had to report, that I've had to say, wow, I taken back that you've just done that in front of me. And I think that's where I think some of the bad things that are being done is from that thin line of human rights and making the decision for somebody. That's where the thin line hits. Because, okay, you know that this person needs assistance with feeding. You don't need to ram the spoon in their mouth. You don't need to do that, which is what I've seen. And you may feel that, yeah, but I'm doing good, I'm getting food down them. But you're not, you're forcing them. You're forcing them. So when you're taking away their human rights, because you're not even allowing them to make the decision, and two, you're putting them in danger of aspiration. So if they were to not swallow properly or do what they needed to do and choke, you've just forced that food. So I think that's where sometimes the bad, because I know there's horrific things that go on sometimes, and you think, oh, I can't believe that happened. But then there's things that go on in hospitals, and so regardless, that is there, and that can be dealt with. But tiny little things like putting the spoon, like forcing the spoon in somebody's mouth, that's just education. That's just being taught. You can come away from that. You can come away from that. So I think, that needs to be expressed as well, on this person is still a person. They're still a human being, just like me, just like you. Not every person is going to treat you nice. Some lash out, some do things because they're just expressing, and nothing in a care home is personal. Nothing's personally aimed at you. Just some people who are living with dementia find it very difficult to express themselves verbally. So physically they have to do it. And that's one of the things that happened to me. I learned that I was physically attacked. And I remember being so scared. I was like, oh, I'm never ever doing this, I can't. And I think it was about 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, I've got to go in there. I've got to do this. I can't be like this. And I just walked in, and I remember he was quite a tough looking man. So I just walked in and I just said, right, me and you, we're starting again. That's it. We're clean slate. And I know you shouldn't have favourites, but he became my favourite. And the things that he would talk to me about, even down to how he was going to escape and go on buses and go here and go there. We absolutely, I loved spending time with him. And I just think it doesn't have to be dark and gloom. It is actually, and when you've got a really good team and you're all getting on and you're all doing what you need to do, it is good. It is good. Be mindful of what you say and how you approach people. You don't need to go in and be so firm and strict. You can have banter or whatever they want to call it. You can with certain people, and you know what they're going to like and what they don't like, and just honestly, just chuck yourself in the deep end. Just go in for it. Like, don't stand and watch. Don't just be there. Just do what you need to do. Don't also stay, like, if you're struggling, go and get somebody else. A new face is better than the same face, honestly. If somebody is not, it's not working, it's not, it's just not happening, go and get somebody else. I promise you it'll always work. Just enjoy it. just enjoy getting to know people and seeing how you can fix things and how you can make things better. It's not all dark and gloom. It's really not. Yeah, because their personalities come through, and there's days where they're not happy, and there's days where they are happy, and there's days where they want to lay in bed, days when they want to get out of bed. They're not robots either. So their personality comes through, and believe me, it comes through. And it's fabulous to know and see. It's amazing. And like being here now, I've got there's residents that I would say, oh, if I could take you home, I'd take you home. And you are only human, because you get to know that person and how they are with you, and just their personality. It's funny, because they want to be they want to be normal. They want to just be human. They're not sat there just like breakfast, dinner, tea, and bed. They want to do things too.